Tonight, small town tragedy.
Well, we don't have an idea yet as to motive.
Heartbreak in a BC community after a mass shooting. Plus, Joe Preston moving on.
It's time for me to pass the baton and let someone else do the job.
The St. Thomas mayor and his pending political retirement. And calling out the conditions.
It's probably the worst ice of the year we've had.
The Canadian athletes and their disappointment in the Olympic ice.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a horrific scene in a small British Columbia community. Local authorities say 9 people are dead after a mass shooting that also injured dozens of others. With more from Tumbler Ridge, here's Kathy Lee.
Police say 18-year-old Jesse Van Rutzeler had dropped out of school 4 years ago and was known to police.
I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female and identified as female. Police had attended that residence on multiple occasions over the past several years, dealing with concerns of mental health.
Investigators are still working on 2 crime scenes, the school and the family home.
2 firearms, a long gun and a modified handgun, were recovered by responding officers. Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation.
Without a known motive or a suspect to question, investigators will have to conduct interviews with family and friends to see if there were any signs or clues that Van Rutzeler was preparing to carry out something like this.
Quite often people say things and others think, oh, he doesn't really mean it. And then when this happens, they realize he did because they don't always come forward and report what friends say.
Any and all social media posts will likely be scanned, making sure no stone is left unturned.
It could be in school counseling, all different sorts of things that could give them that one little piece of information that says this could be why it happened.
Kathy Lee, CTV News.
We're also learning more about the people who have lost their lives in this tragedy, as well as the wounded and the mourning. With more on those developments, here's Andrew Johnson.
A heartbreaking symbol of a tight-knit community in mourning.
This is a deeply distressing incident.
Shortly after 1:20 local time Tuesday, an alert was sent out to residents warning an active shooter may be in the community. The RCMP say they rushed to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, where at least 25 people were found injured. 6 others, a 39-year-old female educator, 3 female 12-year-old students, and 2 male students ages 12 and 13 were found dead inside the school of just 160 students.
Families are just mourning in their own way. Everybody has their own way of expressing remorse and grief, and we give them their comfort zone.
Police say the suspect, who was found at the school dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, was 18-year-old Jesse Van Rutzeler, a resident of Tumbler Ridge. The suspect's 39-year-old mother, Jennifer Strang, and 11-year-old stepbrother, Emmett, were found dead at the suspect's home.
Well, we don't have an idea yet as to motive. And again, recognizing we're still less than 24 hours into this incident, it is something that we are certainly passionately pursuing, but it would be too early to speculate on motive.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
The attack on a high school has raised questions about student safety across the country, as well as how to help young survivors process such a traumatic experience. Heather Wright reports.
There are roughly 15,000 public schools in Canada with varying degrees of security systems in place. Today, many parents and students, though, wondering, is their school safe?
The answer is yes. public schools remain safe across this country.
Alan Campbell is the president of the Canadian School Boards Association and says provinces and territories all have safe school measures in place that include lockdown procedures. And while it's still too early to know exactly what happened at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School yesterday, school boards will be looking for any lessons that might help them improve school safety. Campbell says that could include locking all school doors during the day, which is done in most places, but not everywhere. School boards may also choose to do more drills during the year.
The minimum requirement is that schools are having lockdown drills and the like at least twice per school year. Is there a possible response to this event that sees that frequency increasing? I think it's probably a reasonable thing to expect that in some jurisdictions those conversations will happen.
Other conversations happening include difficult questions being asked by kids and teens.
We're not used to hearing about like a high school shooting in Canada, and so it does make us, threaten our security and our safety.
Dr. Rebecca Calais-Riddell is a clinical psychologist and says when explaining the shooting to kids, the most important thing is to make them feel safe.
So keeping it, to a sentence that people were hurt, but there were a lot of brave people. And so with young kids, you want to kind of get in and get out and end with safety.
Dr. Riddell also suggests answering questions honestly, but limiting details that might be too much for a young person to handle. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
More fallout in the controversy surrounding Donald Trump and the new bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit. The owners of the Ambassador Bridge, soon to be a direct competitor to the new crossing, had a high-level conversation with Trump administration officials before the president posted his social media rant. Travis Fortnum reports.
A Windsor City Councilor is urging residents to rethink how they get across the border.
If you have the ability to choose between the Ambassador Bridge or the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, choose the tunnel.
Ward 7 Rep. Angelo Marignani is not going so far as to call for a boycott, but he, like many, isn't happy in the wake of New York Times reporting, saying sources were briefed on a meeting between the Ambassador Bridge owner Matthew Maroon and U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, not long before Trump took to social media threatening to block the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge.
I was in shock, but then you started hearing how the Maroon family actually lobbied to get this done, and that information then came forward, and that sort of sparked this.
In a media availability Tuesday, Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell also saying she was told a meeting between Maroon and Lutnick took place, though the White House has declined to comment. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, who helped negotiate the original agreement for the new crossing, says delay only benefits one player.
The Maroons are the only party that benefits from delaying the bridge. They make a lot more money at the expense of Canadian and American consumers and everyone else that would benefit with the new bridge being opened.
Snyder notes the Maroon family has opposed the Gordie Howe Bridge since the very beginning, including issuing a string of legal challenges aimed at stopping it.
So it's clear they found someone to talk to. I don't know if it was Lutnick or someone else, but they got someone to go talk to the president and give him bad information.
Windsor's mayor saying this is a unique quirk of having an international crossing held in private hands.
I get it. His job is to do what's right for his businesses and his crossing. My job as mayor is to protect my community and the people who live here. And so I'll do my job. He will do his job.
CTV News has reached out to the Ambassador Bridge Company for comment from Matthew Maroon, but did not hear back by deadline.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Good evening. We have a bit of blowing snow out there and a special weather statement in effect for Huron, Perth, Waterloo and Wellington, Grey and Bruce County included in this as well. In the Bruce Peninsula, there is the risk for some patchy freezing drizzle. Temperatures are hovering below freezing. That's where we've been through the day, and we've had a bit of a biting wind chill with the gusty conditions. Temperatures holding between -3 and -4. Wind chills anywhere from -9 to -12. Now, we've had on and off lake effect flurries through the day today. That will continue this evening. Flurries expected, and we will see them become a little bit more organized over the city of London. I am expecting one band to drift from London westward towards Lambton County, so expecting a bit of accumulating snowfall, and again the risk for freezing drizzle and some light snow north of London. Coming up, I'll take you through the extended forecast. We do have a major pattern shift underway, but a couple more cold nights. I'll have all your local details and a look at your holiday weekend weather coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. City councilors voted to extend contracts for local frontline agencies last night to 2 years, providing stability for their services going forward. With more on the issues debated as part of London's winter homelessness response, here's Brian Bicknell.
A crowd of advocates for London's homeless filled the council gallery as councillors engaged in a drawn-out debate about how to protect those living outdoors in the cold winter months.
The federal government's pulling out $4.2 million in funding locally. And, I've said to all of you, that is terrible, but I cannot backfill that from a property tax base.
So our homelessness response is already stretched thin. Why are we talking about cutting off the hands, our main hands of doing the work that we need to do? It's baffling to me.
Council opted to maintain 2-year contracts with agencies that provide services to those on the streets. A proposal to shorten contracts to 1 year with an option to renew for a second year was voted down.
We second guess whether we want to take action under the action plan. We don't take action under the action plan, then we wonder why the action plan isn't working. And somebody says, we really need an action plan. And it's like it's a perpetual, it's a death loop.
Council also endorsed $250,000 to allow community agencies to open additional warming spaces when the temperature reaches -5. Meanwhile, $290,000 was approved to lower the threshold to open the Boyle Community Center as an emergency warming center. The new standard is -15 Celsius or -20 wind chill, as opposed to the previous standard that both conditions be met.
I'm fully supportive, even though it's oversaturated in my ward, even though it's been the same thing year after year after year. It's the right thing to do. I appreciate the work of my colleagues, but we can do better than this.
The change adds roughly 20 nights per winter to the existing 10 nights. A proposal to have ice and freezing rain added immediately to the new standard did not pass. Instead, council directed staff to look at options to align with extreme weather alerts issued by Environment Canada.
This mainly came forward because we didn't open during the ice storm at the end of December.
And a couple of more controversial proposals did not make the cut. One called for funding for London Care's Project Home to be redirected. The other for a so-called good neighbor clause, which would have required shelters to maintain stricter property standards. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
A major political shakeup in St. Thomas. Mayor Joe Preston says he won't seek re-election this fall, announcing his retirement from politics. With more on his impact through years of public service, here's Sean Irvin.
With his city riding a wave of economic and social innovation, Joe Preston is stepping away from the mayor's office. He will not run this fall.
6 elections, 6 ballots. It's time for me to pass the baton and let someone else do the job.
During his 2 terms as mayor, Joe Preston has led a team that changed St. Thomas. In economic development, his greatest win has been landing the Vianode factory, and prior to that, Volkswagen.
This is the largest automotive facility ever in Canada.
Preston says it never would have happened without cooperation.
Name me 3 other projects in the world where the 3 levels of government actually all agreed and said, let's all row the boat in this direction.
But believe it or not, those generational economic development announcements are not at the top of Preston's accomplishment list. Over his 2 terms, he is most proud of movement he's made in homelessness and housing.
We have no one camping in our community. We during the coldest winter we've seen in a long time, we've had everybody indoors.
An aggressive campaign to build affordable housing is a big reason why. Preston and his city have been lauded nationwide for their efforts.
Really proud of what we've been able to accomplish from a homelessness, mental health, and addictions point of view.
Before becoming mayor, Preston won 4 elections as a Conservative MP. But it's his civic service he'll fondly recall as he steps away.
Because once I found municipal politics, I would never have done anything else.
Elgin County Warden Dominique Giguère calls Preston a catalyst in unlocking the potential of the region. London Mayor Joss Morgan called Preston a friend who leaves an indelible mark, adding that his membership and collaboration have been appreciated. For his part, Preston is warning future leaders to stay focused in the face of world challenges.
And now we have a plague called Trump. So it's you know, and what that's doing to affect Southern Ontario is let's just stay positive and go forward.
With 8 months left in his term, Preston says there are still improvements to be made. But overall, he's content with what he's accomplished for St. Thomas.
I mean, he can look back at the career as mayor and say, didn't miss much. Hit the marks on most of what we're trying to do.
In St. Thomas, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Family members of a man missing from Grey County led a search effort earlier this week. 64-year-old Jim Van Veen has been missing for nearly 2 weeks. His truck was found at Inglis Falls Conservation Area near Owen Sound. A police search had previously been carried out, and on Sunday, dozens of volunteers searched the area themselves. They say no clues were found and more searches are in the works. Substantial snow drifts in Huron County are starting to recede thanks to warmer temperatures, and road crews have been using snow blowers along highways to clear some of the more obstructive drifts this week. Some of them are more than 6 feet high. According to workers, they're trying to limit more drift formations across roadways, preventing closures. Elsewhere in Bruce County, there were some road closures because of high winds and blowing snow. Construction on a new reservoir in southwest London is nearly complete. It's designed to maintain a secure water supply for decades to come. With more on the project and what it means for the city, here's Jerry DeWan.
Construction of the new Springbank Reservoir number 2 has been underway since the spring of 2024. The new addition will nearly double the capacity of the previous reservoir.
We're going from about 45 million litres to 88 million litres.
The project is the result of recommendations that came from a 2019 long-term water storage environmental assessment.
As the city grows, we need to be able to store more water, and as well, the old reservoir, which was built around World War I, was at the end of its life.
There are actually 3 reservoirs along Commissioners Road at the top of Snake Hill. The third is on the south side, and for the size of it, it's pretty inconspicuous. Reservoir 1 is immediately to the west of the new reservoir. Combined, the 3 hold about 250 million litres of water. They're fed from Lake Erie and Lake Huron, where the water is treated and made safe. The first reservoir was built in this area back in 1878, using a simple strategy that still works today.
We're up on a hill, so actually from here, it's by gravity that most of the city gets their water pressure from.
The crews have been working from west to east to create the massive structure that will be filled with water up to a meter from the ceiling. The water is funneled to homes and businesses throughout the day and replenished at night. The concrete work should be done this spring, and after testing, the reservoir will be operational in the fall. The key is to ensure a secure supply of water even in an emergency, like a prolonged power outage.
We try to keep a big reserve so that if there is anything that happens, everybody still has drinking water, and we've been very successful at that to date. We have about 2 days worth supply of water stored.
When it's done, the reservoir will be covered with soil and grass to become parkland that overlooks the city. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
There are growing concerns at the Olympics over ice conditions for multiple events. Canada's athletes are calling out the conditions, saying it's some of the worst ice they've skated on this season. With more, here's Heather Butts.
Fresh off their silver medal win in the mixed team relay, these short track speed skaters relieved their hard work paid off. And while there's excitement, there's also disappointment in the ice conditions athletes are facing.
Yeah, honestly, it's really bad. There was so many falls, and it's probably the worst ice of the year we've had.
A world champion in the 1,000 meters, Stephen Dubois, crashed during the qualifying round, leading to an early exit in his individual race.
At the games, it's always hard. They have to manage with the ice, the figure skating and the short track, and it's really not the same ice that we like. We have different opinions about it.
Some Team USA skaters also blaming the soft ice for a number of falls. Ice temperature varies depending on discipline. Figure skating ice is typically warmer and softer. Hockey ice cold and hard. Speed skating is typically coldest, generating the most speed. During the Olympics, figure skating and short track have traditionally shared a venue, requiring quick condition changes. We put the quality concern to Olympic officials. Is this something you're looking into? We are aware of very few issues, said this Olympic official, pointing to ice masters who he says check conditions constantly, claiming they have received compliments on the quality of field of play. Canada's equipment technician says it's up to athletes to adapt to the changing conditions.
Every athlete has to kind of work with it, so it seems fair for everyone. But sometimes it feels a bit unfair when you give your best and it's the ice that doesn't hold under you.
Dubois said he hopes crews will do a better job in the next few days, but now they know what to expect. And Canada has already managed it well, claiming that silver medal in the mixed team relay. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
And Canada now has 4 medals, 1 silver, 3 bronze. Scott Hurst has highlights from the Olympics and Canada's latest medal.
A podium finish for Canadian ice dancers Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, their first Olympic medal.
They've been working really hard. They're an amazing pair together. They've been together for about 15 years now.
The 3-time Olympians were in third after the rhythm dance. They put down a score of 131.56 in the free dance for a combined total of 217.74, and that secured them the bronze medal. Reigning Olympic silver medalist in the men's speed skating 1,000-meter, Laurent Dubreuil, was one of 3 Canadians racing for a medal in the event at Milano Cortina. Dubreuil, however, failed to reach the podium this time around, finishing 8th overall. A thrilling finish in the women's freestyle moguls event. Saskatchewan's Maya Schwinghammer reaching the top 8 medal round, putting down a final run score of 77.61. She was just off the podium, however, 5th in her first Olympic Games. Another Olympic final is booked for Elizabeth Hosking in snowboard halfpipe. The Quebec athlete in her 3rd Olympic Games was 8th in qualifying today. The 12-rider final takes place on Thursday. 4 Canadians were taking part in the men's Super G. Jack Crawford, the top athlete wearing the maple leaf, placing 16th in the alpine skiing event, about a second and a half behind the winner. Medals were on the line in biathlon. The top Canadian was 23-year-old Calgarian Pascal Parody, finishing in 24th place. 4-player curling is now underway. Team Brad Jacobs opening up their Milano Cortina experience with a win over Germany. Men's hockey is now officially underway. Canada's first game is tomorrow against Czechia. The women will wrap up their preliminary round in a game tomorrow as well against Finland. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
When we come back, it's the Tee-Up with Brent Lail. He'll break down the big changes at Western's track program and how it's still ranked among the country's best.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. It's time for the Tee-Up with Brent Lail and Brenda. Busy week for the London Knights. They're back home tonight after a loss in Kitchener last night.
Yeah, and they'll drop the puck in just moments against the Guelph Storm Carlyle. The first 1,000 fans into Canada Life Place tonight received a special promotion.
We've done 3 bobbleheads now, and every year it gets more and more exciting. And this year, of course, a couple teasers of who it was going to be, and the fans all had their chance to give us input. But, of course, now we've announced the Sam Dickinson bobblehead this year.
This edition has the Memorial Cup champion holding the trophy over his head. It's the 3rd edition of their bobblehead, following Mitch Marner and Easton Cowan the past couple of seasons. The San Jose Sharks rookie has 1 goal and 8 assists in 45 games so far in his NHL career.
If you look at the stats, he's one of the greatest London Knights defensemen of all time, and of course capped off last year with the Memorial Cup. So it's cool, it's unique to have the Memorial Cup that he's holding with the bobblehead. So it's going to be a lot of fun for the fans here.
And in high school sports, the winter season is nearing an end, and that means playoff time is getting underway.
Yeah, basketball and volleyball are into their postseasons, and the city champions will be determined next week. Wassa Swimming was at the Aquatic Center today, and athletes booked their tickets to OFSA, while the Nordic skiers earned their spot in the provincials yesterday.
Nice job, ladies.
Halfway. Nice job, ladies. Half done. Keep going.
Straight through.
The Wassa Nordic Ski Championship took place up in Hepworth, which is just south of Wyerton. Students from 4 London schools, as well as Medill, WCI in Woodstock, and Central Huron, all had athletes there. Among the winners, Logan Lawrence from Saunders. He did the senior boys 6.5K in just under 27 minutes to win gold. He's off to OFSA in 2 weeks.
Baseball season is here with Major League spring training underway.
Now, pitchers and catchers reported to Dunedin today, and the Jays are just getting started on their American League title defense. Not far behind, a few local minor leaguers are excited to head south and prepare for their seasons.
1-0. Anderson lines it up the middle. There's McGinnis again, knocks it down. Shortstop Jackson on the hop. Throw to first. What a play! McGinnis to Jackson, the alley-oop for the third out of the inning.
It was more than a dream come true. I mean, I'm just getting started, so I mean, there's more to go. But I mean, for that as a start to get to high A, my first year was more than I expected.
There's Cord Jackson from nearby Wyoming. He was drafted last year in the 5th round by the New York Yankees and then was sent to High A Hudson Valley. He's been working out at Centerfield Sports before heading down to Florida. The young man with speed, power, and defensive skill played 25 games, getting his feet wet in pro ball.
It was a blast, honestly, more than I could have expected. Had a great time. It was a lot different than college for sure, but I love it. It was a lot higher of a competition, and I'm excited to keep going at it.
And finally, Brent, Western track and field athletes and their quest to defend a national title.
Yeah, the women's track team #2 in U Sports right now, while the men are #3 in Canada. They're in a great position to defend a national championship despite the programming having a lot of turnover.
I think we have a lot of momentum coming into the OUA.
Heading into the upcoming Ontario Championships at York University, the defending U Sports champions are no longer the hunters. They are the hunted.
Last year was absolutely, undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime team, and that's something we all kind of had to wrap our heads around heading into this season. Like, last year was not the norm.
This season is a little different. Western Track lost some superstars. However, they did replace them with others, like rookie heptathlete Jackson McKay, who broke the U Sports record in his first meet.
I cannot wait for York and honestly to do another hep if I end up doing it OUAs. And yeah, I'm super excited, and I honestly can't wait for that.
The changes around campus aren't just with a new crop of athletes. They have a new boss at the helm after Vicky Crowley retired on top. Caroline Earhart, a 10-time Canadian champion triple jumper, has moved from assistant to head coach.
My experience in the sport has very much come in clutch through this transition. Vicky told me a few years ago, you know, you take little pieces away from every coach that you've ever worked with. I couldn't have asked for a more seamless experience, like having already been on the coaching staff for the past 4 seasons previous to this, and as well as just always having Vicky as a mentor and having her on standby on the phone.
Some of the athletes admit they were feeling the pressure of trying to defend a title, but that went away quickly.
I think our focus was our team culture and bringing the young ones in to really just feel like a family, because I think that's where a lot of our success comes from.
And despite losing some heavy hitters and U Sports individual champions, this team is rebuilding, while still a powerhouse.
We're seeing some of our younger cohort really step up and fill those spots. And we won't be graduating a lot of athletes this year. So again, exciting times to come.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
And Julie Atchison is on the desk with me now, and it sounds like we are talking about some wintry weather coming our way. A little bit of cold, some snow, but it's not like that big freeze we had last week.
No, we have one very cold night in the forecast, but other than that, the pattern will be shifting. We're expecting milder temperatures. Today, not as mild as many would hope. That freezing mark was reached overnight, and we were dealing with wind chills this afternoon, close to about -10. We'll have wind chills about -14 overnight, but typical for this time of year. So at least temperatures are back to where they should be. The lake effect as snow continues. Yes, we do have a trough over the Great Lakes, a ridge in place in Western Canada, and as a result, we are still under that cold flow of air. Now, that trough in the coming days, this is in the upper atmosphere, and it's going to slowly start to shift to the east, but will remain under the colder conditions over the next couple of days before things really shift. Now, Western Canada, it's been beautiful with lots of sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud across the southern prairies. Then we get into that cold pocket of air, and we have snowfall tonight through southern Quebec and right through the Maritimes. So snow continuing, has a cold weather system and a cold front coming through. Next 24-hour model, so you can still see this flow coming downwind of Lake Huron. That's what's been generating the on and off flurries throughout the day today, so lake effect snow. Now, in terms of additional accumulation that we've already received, really a couple centimeters total, so trace amounts of snowfall, some areas just seeing under that. So not a big deal, but we do have one steady streamer in through Lake Huron, and that will continue overnight and into Huron County. So watching that one localized streamer pushing through. Other than that, the rest of the region just mainly cloudy, and the trend will be to break up the cloud cover. So let's take a look at those numbers. Again, really just trace amounts. This forecast model reading close to 3 centimeters in the Forest City. As we head towards Owen Sound, in and around Barrie, close to 4 centimeters. It's the blowing snow that's the big issue out there tonight. So any snow that does fall is whipping around because those winds are quite gusty, and there is the risk, as I mentioned earlier, of that freezing drizzle north of London. Mix of sun and cloud Thursday, the high a -3, northwest winds starting to ease off just a bit. But tomorrow night, the temperature drops down to -15. So it's going to be extremely cold for one more night. But then you can see things looking much better. So tomorrow on the colder side at -3, dealing with wind chills in the morning around -14. And then Friday, a mix of sun and cloud +2. Saturday looks good, a mix of sun and cloud and 2 degrees. On Sunday, overcast and +3. And for holiday Monday, 5 degrees. We start to see increasing amounts of cloud cover as we head through the weekend. Tuesday, mainly cloudy, chance of a nighttime rain or snow mix. And 8 degrees Wednesday. So that is a major jump. So we're really watching those temperatures as we head through the weekend. You'll just see that day-to-day warming. And then by next week, we really see a major pattern shift. As we head to Midwestern Ontario, we have flurries in the forecast tonight with a little bit of light accumulating snow. So some icy roads continue. And then some flurries tomorrow, although the probability drops down to about a 40% chance. The coverage will be much less and mainly just Huron County. Mix of sun and cloud Friday and Saturday. Sunday, overcast conditions heading into the holiday. Daytime highs above freezing from 2 to +4, and temperatures are set to jump early next week, anywhere from 4 to 6 degrees. So some milder air moving in, and the holiday weekend is looking great. Carlyle for traveling and outdoor fun. So we have some sunny breaks through the weekend and temperatures coming in above freezing.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead on CTV News, the importance of life insurance in your personal financial plan.
Back by popular demand, we got a note from a listener requesting that we bring back the Etsy Witch. Find out why and what the spell is for tomorrow morning at 8:15.
A new poll suggests as many as 1 in 4 Canadians have been victims of fraud or extortion. The survey was conducted by Leger. It found the most common forms of fraud are credit card and bank fraud. 52% of respondents said they've been targeted by those scams. Others include phishing, fake websites, or phone and text scams. The federal government has given Canada Post another $1 billion loan while stating those cash infusions are not a permanent solution. The latest repayable loan is on top of a similar loan from January of last year. The federal procurement minister says the Postal Service must have the revenue it needs, but the service must also transform so it doesn't require this kind of continued support from Ottawa. A new survey shows many Canadians don't have life insurance. That's prompting a warning from financial experts, especially for parents, to make a plan for the worst-case scenario. Pat Foran reports.
Can I just try this way? Pamela and Luigi Lacorte Vaughn are getting ready for a birthday party for their twins who are turning 1 year old. Even before they started a family, they decided to get life insurance as part of their financial plan.
Now that we have 2 kids, it makes me feel so much more relieved. It's part of our budget now. We don't even think twice about it.
A life insurance survey by Policy Me found 42% of Canadians don't have life insurance or are unsure if they do, and 65% said they are unlikely to get life insurance in the next 5 years. The Lacortes say for them, it was an important part of their fiscal strategy.
It's not much given the psychological benefit knowing that if you pass, your kids are set up, your mortgage can be paid off, and they won't have any burden.
When it comes to life insurance, people don't think about
their debt. Policy Me specializes in term policies and says life insurance is not as expensive as many people think. A 20-year term policy for $250,000 for a 35-year-old man who is healthy and a non-smoker is about $19 a month. For a 35-year-old woman, the same coverage is about $15 a month. Once locked in, rates won't go up, and you can cancel at any time. The point of life insurance is really to make sure that if that future income were to, not be around because because you pass away, that there is still money there to support the people who are relying on you.
Life insurance is a critical part of asset protection.
Financial expert Evelyn Jack says families should have a will along with life insurance, and says when policies are cashed in, they're tax-free.
It's a transaction you should do for yourself and your family to give you some peace of mind.
Finding extra money for another monthly expense can be difficult, but it may be worth it to know in the event of your death, your loved ones will be looked after. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index finished flat today while American markets edged lower. The TSX lost 3 points. In New York, the Dow fell 67, the Nasdaq dropped 36. The Canadian dollar down 0.16 cents. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $67 an ounce. Oil added 67 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, Canada's home away from home at the Olympics. With no official venue in Milan, traveling fans are creating one for themselves. Welcome back. A Canadian foundation launched in honor of a young girl who died of a brain tumor is marking a 25th anniversary. Pauline Chan has more on the new exhibit and what it symbolizes.
25 portraits to match the years since Denise Bebenek started the foundation in Megan's honor.
Photographs that are here show who I call our heroes. These are our kiddos who we've supported through the years and given the families the opportunity, the ones that sadly have passed away, to celebrate their children.
They're calling it the 7% Gallery.
As we celebrate the medical advancements in pediatric brain tumor research, understanding that only 7% of Canadian cancer research funds go to pediatric oncology. And given that brain tumors are the #1 cause of cancer-related death in children, we felt it was time to get this statistic under control.
That figure is reflected in the 25 portraits, which are only 7% colorized. They show children, researchers, and Megan's Hug events, which have raised some $6.5 million for brain cancer research. Andrew Bondock talks about DIPG, the cancer Megan had, and the innovative ways they are developing to fight it by getting around the blood-brain barrier.
Called MRI-guided focused ultrasound. It's a technique by which we non-invasively open the blood-brain barrier transiently, so for only a limited amount of time, which allows the drugs to get in, and then it closes back up.
And funding from the Megan Bebenek Foundation is already affecting patients' lives, like little Massimo, who was diagnosed with a brain tumor last year.
Just said mama this past week. He's learning to walk. He's making huge strides in his development that would not have been possible but for the advancements made in research that were partially funded by MDF.
Massimo's family is grateful, but say more must be done, and they hope to see everyone at the annual Megan's Hug event outside Sick Kids Hospital on Mother's Day. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new report suggests auto theft in Canada is declining. According to the Equite Association, nearly 47,000 vehicle thefts were reported last year, an 18% decrease compared to last year and a 33% drop compared to 2023. However, researchers say the financial impact remains high, with insurance claims reaching an estimated $900 million in 2025. They also say more than a third of vehicles reported stolen last year were not recovered. A firefighter in the GTA was taken to hospital after responding to a fire at an auto body shop. Emergency crews were called early this morning and say they were able to get the heavy flames under control. One firefighter was taken to hospital with minor injuries, though, and they've not said how those injuries occurred.
A rare bluebird day when this photo was taken. Thank you to Christine Jasik for sending this one in. Temperatures on the colder side overnight with wind chills close to about minus 14 and a northwest wind generating flurries off Lake Huron. Bit of sunshine for your Thursday, and temperatures are set to climb as we head into the weekend.
Canadian business leaders say because of ongoing trade tensions south of the border, they're looking elsewhere around the world when it comes to expansion. With more, here's Jacqueline Wilson.
When U.S. President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Canada, it was a wake-up call, forcing some Calgary businesses like Casa Bonita to pivot to other international markets.
Even though the States is still important, it's no longer our biggest customer. Australia is our number 2, Japan number 3. Thailand is going to be number 4, and the U.S., if we keep going, is going to be in a very, very last place very soon.
Lorena expanded with the help of Calgary Economic Development's Trade Accelerator program. New data from the organization shows U.S. trade deals with local businesses dropped to a record low of 24% last year. That's down from 35% the year before.
So now we're seeing almost $60 million worth of deals were done last year alone on 45 trade deals in 21 countries. So now we're seeing that people understand that they can find other places to move their products and services and build a company locally that could be competitive on a global scale.
Zero Sound, a Calgary industrial noise suppression company, is also expanding beyond the U.S.
We continue our efforts with the good relationships that we have there, but the importance of the diversification into other markets where they're frankly welcoming us with open arms is something really that we're focusing on and leveraging now.
Bogner says his company has already had business in Latin America and Chile, but now are looking even further globally.
With projects just starting in the EU, in Germany and Italy, and we're setting up a regional HQs in both Australia and the United Arab Emirates.
The international demand is also having an impact locally. CED reports 187 jobs were created through business expansion last year. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
The U.S. Commerce Secretary was asked to explain a lunch he attended with Jeffrey Epstein this week, which took place on the convicted sex offender's private island in 2012, years after he claimed to have cut off ties.
My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island.
Howard Lutnick previously claimed he had vowed to never be in a room with Epstein again following an uncomfortable interaction in 2005. Lutnick is a key Trump advisor on tariffs, and he now faces calls from both Republicans and Democrats to resign. Police in Arizona have reportedly released a man they had detained for questioning in their search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of American television host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities say the man was detained during a traffic stop just south of Tucson, where Guthrie's mother lives. They say a home was also searched. A man who identified himself as Carlos says he was the person held at the scene for hours. He says he worked in Tucson delivering packages.
Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
All this happened just hours after the FBI released doorbell camera footage from outside Nancy Guthrie's home the night she disappeared. The video shows a masked person wearing gloves and carrying a backpack. Authorities say the person also had a gun. Actor James Van Der Beek, known for the 90s teen drama Dawson's Creek, has died.
Joey, listen to me. If we are truly meant to be, then we will find our way back to each other. It's as simple as that.
Van Der Beek played Dawson Leary, the namesake star of the show. He also starred in the high school football film Varsity Blues. His wife posted online saying Van Der Beek met his final days with courage, faith, and grace after a battle with colorectal cancer. He was 48 years old. Spring training is underway for the Toronto Blue Jays as pitchers and catchers report to Dunedin, Florida. The team posted this video on social media showing the spring training complex under preparations for the upcoming preseason. The Jays are coming off their first World Series appearance since the early 90s, losing to the LA Dodgers in Game 7. Some new names added to the roster this offseason include pitcher Dylan Cease and Japanese star Kazuma Okamoto. However, they also saw shortstop Bo Bichette Bichette leave the team, signing a new contract with the New York Mets. Team officials are also dealing with some serious injuries already. Outfielder Anthony Santander is expected to miss 5 to 6 months after undergoing shoulder surgery. Pitcher Bowden Francis will actually miss the entire season because of Tommy John surgery. They also say pitcher Shane Bieber likely won't be ready for opening day, dealing with forearm fatigue. Toronto's season begins March 27th at home against the Athletics. Finally tonight, Canadian fans in Milan looking for a place to cheer together. In past Olympic Games, there's been an official Canada House, but that's not the case this year. With more on the Canadians making their own home away from home, here's Garrett Barry.
A friendly invasion, a sea of red taking over this Milan sports bar and making it, man, I feel like a woman, the unofficial Canada HQ.
This is an amazing place. I've just got a whole new room full of friends here.
What started with a few WhatsApp messages and Facebook callouts has become an act of some international diplomacy on one of the world's biggest stages.
People see my Canadian flag on my lapel, only the best energy that's given back to me. I'm really proud to be Canadian.
The Canadians are filling the chairs.
We have a lot of Olympic tickets, but we wanted to do at least have one big Canadian game where we would be with a bunch of Canadian fans.
If you see us hanging out here, come on over and say hi. We're making friends, meeting people from all over the country.
They're flipping the channels over to hockey and explaining the rules to everyone around.
I've seen the sport before, but I've never understood it. I've been educated by Jason's, like offensive line and the blue line.
The Italian staff can't seem to get enough.
Love this place, Blues Canal, because we are like to building a place where people can just be themselves, bringing something from their country.
Gabriella told me that her new Canadian customers and friends are always trying to solve problems and really are just nice. Garrett Barry, CTV News, Milan.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.